Thank you, Brother King Simon. All right, family. Before we get into this debate, we want to bring on a mighty warrior, a sister. She goes by the name of Dr. Maat. She's definitely from the Army Ra Squad. Shout out to the Army Ra Squad. How many of you ever heard of the Army Ra Squad? Give it up for the Army Ra Squad. Shout out to the Army Ra Squad. Let's give it up. All right, without any further ado, because we got to get this popping, let's go right in with our sister, Dr. Maat. And she want to break down, is the black woman God? That's what she want to talk about. Uh-oh, she's bringing up her twin boys with her twin sons. Give it up for the youngsters.
Black power. Black power. Black power. Black power. All praises to the ancestors. All praises to the ancestors. Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Dr. Oya Mayat, and I'm a member of the Army Ra Squad.
Yeah.
Army Ra Squad. First, before I get started, I would like to thank Brother Sinetta for building this beautiful platform and inviting me here to speak to you today. So I'd like to give it up for Sinetta for this beautiful platform that he built. I would also like to first and foremost salute the sisterhood in the buildings. I see a lot of sisters sitting in the chairs, so I want to say salute to you queens, great mothers, queens of the universe. Thank you for coming. And I would like to salute the brotherhood in the building, the protectors, the Holy Trinity, man, woman, and child. So I like to salute the brotherhood and the sisterhood. So my topic today will be, is the black woman
Excuse me, Dr. Maat. Can y'all please keep it down? Keep it down. No talking right now. She's speaking. Let's respect that. Go ahead, sister.
All right. So my topic today is going to be, is the black woman God? A lot of people are yelling, the black woman is God, the black woman is God. And I know you're hearing that, true or false. A lot of you hear that, the black woman is God, the black woman is God. Okay, so look, before I get started, I want to define some terms to you, okay? My first term is pseudoscience, all right? So what is pseudoscience? Pseudoscience is a collection of beliefs or practices mistakenly regarded as being based on the scientific method, all right? That's pseudoscience. A myth is a traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people or explaining some natural or social phenomenon, and typically involving supernatural beings or events. A debunked theory is an explanation of things or events that has been proven false, okay? Now, in the Army Ra Squad, we stand on science and the scientific method, all right? So this is my intention today, and I'm going to read it verbatim. In recent years, the idea that the black woman is God has gained tremendous momentum in the community due to its propagation by prominent figures within who claim a motive to elevate the black woman. However, much of this neo-ideology is predicated on myths, debunked theories, and pseudoscience. The Black Woman is God movement is enhancing the pre-existing condition of division among black men and women.
That's right.
The objective of this presentation is to expose and repudiate the erroneous teachings used to support why the black woman is God, and to elucidate the true nature of the black woman, that which is always complemented by the black man. You can't be a God without, you can't be a goddess without a God. Okay? So I'm talking about balance right now. So this is going to be a discussion on balance in my yacht. All right? So in my agenda, this is my agenda, I'm going to start off by explaining the plight of the black woman and why sisters are gravitating to this whole, the black woman is God doctrine. So we're angry right now. You have a lot of sisters that are angry, and it should be, given what we've gone through here in the hells of North America. So I'm going to talk about the plight of the black woman, explain why women gravitate to the black woman is God rhetoric, and then I'm going to discuss the teachers of the black woman is God and offer scientific rebuttals to the pseudoscience and the myths and the debunked theories. And then I'm going to discuss, I'm going to answer this question, were black women gods in the African mind. So were we viewed as gods in Africa? All right? And then I'm going to discuss with you the concept of Maat in Africa. The plight of the black woman. Sean, I need you to hit the video. The plight of the black woman. Okay? Did you hit it? Did you hit it? Technical difficulties. Give me 1 second, family. All right, the plight of the black woman. Did you hit the button, Shawnee? Okay, the plight of the black woman. So when we were in Africa, we were queens. We were on the throne. We were queens. We were revered. We were venerated, right? We were queens. And then one day, the oppressor came over. And we were enslaved and we were forced to bear the Middle Passage. Not all of us, but some of us. And we were on those boats and we were laying next to each other, laying in each other's urine and feces and menstrual cycles. And this is what the black woman endured. We were raped at the will of the oppressor, okay? So we were enslaved. We were shackled. And I'm not talking about the plight of the black man. I'm talking about the sisters right now, okay? So we were enslaved. And then we were forced to watch the dignity and manhood stripped away from our fathers, our husbands, our sons, beat. They were hung. Even the men were raped. Okay, so it wasn't just the black woman that got raped. The men were raped as well. Okay, but the black woman, she was burned. She was hung. She was raped. Okay, forced to be a mammy to foreign children. Forced to have foreign children suckling the milk, suckling from our breasts, all right? This is what the black woman endured here in America. Then our children were being sold away from us, okay? So I'm not talking about the plight of the black man right now. I'm talking about the plight of the black woman, all right? So we were forced to be mothers to foreign children, all right? While our own children were being sold and were being beat. And today, we are still crying, still feeling the same pain that our great-grandmothers and our grandmothers and our mothers felt. We're still feeling that same pain. Here I show pictures of the marches. We even participated in marches where dogs bit the breast off of black women. They said there were actually more black women in these marches than men. So we were marching, fighting for our liberation, fighting for our families. Okay? Fighting for our families, and today we're still marching, we're still fighting, and we're still singing and marching and fighting. But look, this is Trayvon Martin's mother. We just lost him, 2 years ago, he was murdered. Then that's Michael Brown's mother. And there are hundreds and hundreds of other mothers who are losing their sons to the hands of the pig, to the hands of the oppressor. And our men are being incarcerated in record numbers right now. And right now the family is broken. And the black woman is forced right now to raise the children by herself. Okay? So I'm not talking about the plight of the black man right now. I'm talking about the plight of the black woman. All right? Shawnee, let's go to the next. Oh, no, hold on, I'm sorry. The plight of the black woman. So black women, we found solace in religion. A lot of us subscribe to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, right? And as a matter of fact, according to the Pew Research Center, it said that no group of men or women from any other racial ethnic background exhibits comparably high levels of religious observance. So black women are the most religious people. We are the most religious people. According to the Washington Post, it says among black women are among, the most religious people in the nation. So we're the most religious. So we find solace in religion. And when they did a study on how important religion was to the black woman, if you look at the statistics, it says 74% of black women said religion is very important to me, right? This is statistics showing that we are the most religious. And then it says, how important of a role does religion or God play in helping you get through tough times? Black women say very important, right? We're at the top of the list. So we subscribe to these misogynist doctrines, right? And I call them misogynist doctrines. If you subscribe to Judaism, Christianity, Islam, I call them misogynist doctrine, because God is spoken about in a masculine context. Man is always created first. woman is created from man, and then it says that woman introduced sin, and that birth pain is a consequence of evil, and that menstruation is considered a sickness. So that's why I call this stuff misogynist, okay? And it also talks about how the man is the head. So we as black women, you know, we went through that stage where all of us went through either Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and then one day we said, no, we're conscious. We're going to walk away from all of that foolishness, and we called ourselves conscious, right? But then my question is, are we really conscious? Are we really conscious? Okay? Because conscious means, right, to be aware of and responding to one's surroundings, right? So to be awake and alert. But you say that you're conscious, but yet you continue to use religious terms and adopt similar ideology. So what did you really do? Well, you traded in Yahweh and Allah for now a black woman with superpowers, right? And then you traded in the pastor for pseudo teachers. And then you traded in the Holy Ghost for astral projection. Astral projection. So then my question is, are we really conscious? So being conscious really isn't enough for me at this point. I think that we should all strive to be enlightened, right? So being enlightened means having or showing a rational, modern, and well-informed outlook. So to me, being conscious isn't enough anymore, because in this conscious community, I see nothing but misinformation being circulated. Pseudo, we call it pseudo in the Armor Raw Squad. It's just circulating. So to me, being conscious is not enough anymore. Let's strive to be strive to be enlightened. And to be enlightened means having or showing a rational, modern, and well-informed outlook. So that's Malachi Z. York. A lot of you, are you guys familiar with Malachi Z. York? All right, so Malachi Z. York, or Dr. Malachi Z. York, or Malachi Z. York, he taught that the black woman is God. I think he started teaching this around the 1990s, all right, 1990s, early 2000s, before his incarceration. So he was one of the main people that taught that the black woman is God, and he pumped out a lot of literature. So to the right of his picture, or to the left of his picture, is his book called The Black Book. So I picked up the book and I scrutinized it. You know, because I was on that kick that the black woman is God, so I wanted to take my time to learn about it. But to be honest with you, family, I couldn't get through the book. It was too much foolery. I couldn't get through it. In the black book claims that the female existed before the male, and his proof was the age of mitochondrial DNA. He also said that females must have existed before males because the X chromosome is 5 times larger than the Y chromosome. He also stated in his black book that men are a genetic defect of women. And his proof was that the Y chromosome is a defective X. And a matter of fact, on one of his pages, he said that the mother, the goddess Nunette, sliced off 2.8% of the X chromosome in order to form the Y. So a lot of sisters are now saying that the Y is a broken X. And then he also stated that women can produce babies without men. What? Women can produce babies without men. And then his proof was, he said, well, human beings are a mixture of mammal and reptilian, mammal and reptile. He also said that the Bartholin gland, and I know a lot of you keep hearing the brothers say the Bartholin gland produces sperm, right? I mean, the brother saying that the Bartholin gland in the female produces sperm. It doesn't. But anyway, he said that the Bartholin gland is capable of producing seminal fluid, and he said women are capable of parthenogenesis. And we know that parthenogenesis is when the egg can develop into an embryo without fertilization. So brothers and sisters, I'm here today to tell you that all of these things are false. This is what we call pseudoscience, all right? So let's understand mitochondrial DNA, because that's what he said. Women were here first based on mitochondrial DNA. So let's understand what mitochondrial DNA is. I'm sorry, here we go. So you're looking at a cell structure, okay? Within the cell structure, you have a nucleus. Within the nucleus, you have chromosomes. If you are a male, you have XY chromosomes. If you're a female, you have XX chromosomes, right? Within the nucleus. Outside of the nucleus, you have thousands of mitochondria. And within the mitochondria, you have what's called mitochondrial DNA. So the function of, or the purpose of mitochondrial DNA is to convert carbohydrates and fatty acids into energy that your cell can use, okay, that your body can utilize. Now, people inherit mitochondrial DNA from your mother. It's passed from mother to daughter and to mother to son, but only daughters, only females can carry mitochondrial DNA, all right? And it says that according to science, the most recent woman from whom all living humans today descend existed 2,000 years ago. And all of this was based on tracing the age and the mutations of the mitochondrial DNA. So based on this, Malachi York's claim that females were here before men. Well, I'd like to establish this, family, that mitochondrial DNA is not a female invention. In fact, mitochondrial precedes the female-male species. So before there was even a female-male species, there was mitochondrial, okay? So I don't know if y'all understand that, because I should have heard a clap just now when I said that. I want to establish with you that mitochondrial DNA, that is not a female invention, okay? That mitochondrial precedes the female-male species. So you cannot make the premise that women were here first or men were here based on the age of mitochondrial DNA, because as we can see, mitochondrial DNA precedes male and females. All right? Y'all with me? All right? All right? So this is how mitochondrial DNA came into existence. Okay, according to science, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, according to science, right? And they say that the earliest evidence of life goes back 3.5 billion years ago. So now we're talking about tiny organisms on the planet Earth, right? This is all according to science. So 3.5 billion years ago, you had no human life, even though you got some people, you know, in the pseudo community that's saying that we were here doing Pangea and all of that. But the earliest life, the earliest evidence goes back 3.5 billion years ago. Okay, you had cells called prokaryotes. They were unicellular bacteria and archaea. Now, due to a process called endosymbiosis, endo means inner, symbiosis is the physical interaction between two organisms due to their environment. So there was a process called endosymbiosis, where the eukaryotic cell ingested an alpha protobacterium, okay? And that was the birth of mitochondrial DNA, or mitochondria, okay? So we all began as prokaryotes, which are unicellular bacteria and archaea, and due to evolutionary processes, eukaryotes evolved, and eukaryotes were cells that now had a nucleus. These new prokaryotic cells ingested a bacteria called alpha protobacterium, and that was the birth of mitochondria, okay? So mitochondrial precedes female-male species. It's not a female invention, all right? Now, this was a phylogenetic tree of life, which just explained what I just went through as far as the origin of human beings. Okay, and this is a good paper called Mitochondrial Evolution. So if you want to, for those who are listening to the lecture via Black News 102, if you want to check my reference on the origins of mitochondria, there's a paper that's published by Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory Press called Mitochondrial Evolution by Michael Gray. And in this paper, it explains the symbiotic theory and how mitochondria evolved from free-living bacteria via symbiosis. And they actually discovered this by studying the rRNA in plants. So that's how they found out the bacterial lineage of mitochondrial DNA. So I know you all going to say, well, Dr. Oyamaya, how was sex initially determined? You know, I mean, somebody had to be here first, because according to all religious ideologies, somebody was here first, right? Somebody was here first. Either it was the male or it was the female. So they had sex determination mechanisms thousands and thousands, millions of years ago. You had sex determination mechanisms. And sex determination mechanisms act to differentiate an initially bipotential gonad. I'm going to repeat. It differentiates an initially bipotential gonad. A gonad is a sex organ or a sex gland. So look, we need to kill this stuff that fetuses begin as females. Dr. Malachi York and other brothers say that all fetuses or zygotes begin as female. No, you don't begin as female in the womb. Everything starts off as neutral. We all evolve from a bipotential gonad. So if you have the SRY gene, which is conducive to male reproduction, then you're going to evolve into a male. And if that gene is not present, you're going to evolve into a female. So we need to stop teaching our young babies that everybody in the womb begins as a woman. No, we don't. All fetuses start off neutral, undifferentiated. Alright, so the sex determination mechanism, okay, it acts to differentiate an initially bipotential gonad primordial into either testes or ovaries. So initially sex was determined millions of years ago by the temperature. It was temperature dependent. It was based on its environment. Then later on, it was based on genetics. It was based on genes. And then they had a sex determination mechanism called polyfactorial, where it was a mixture of both. Mammals were created in pairs. So we need to stop with the foolishness that man was created first or woman was created first. You are a human being. We are part of the mammal kingdom. Males and females were created at the same time. We were all created in pairs. Nobody was created before anybody. I would like to also establish that the Y chromosome did not evolve from an X. According to Dr. Malachi York's teachings, he said that the goddess Nunet stripped 2.8% of the X and made the Y. It didn't happen like that. The X and Y chromosomes evolved from a pair of autosomes, they said 300 million years ago. This is according to science. So 300 million years ago, the XY chromosomes evolved from ancestral autosomes. What is an autosome? It's a chromosome that's not a sex chromosome. Okay? So it started off as an ancestral autosome. Due to evolutionary processes, caused one partner to acquire a sex-determining gene. Men had what's called an SRY gene. This is why you develop testicles. You have an SRY gene present. Okay, so one of the partners acquired a sex-determining gene, SRY. And this SRY allowed male advantage genes to accumulate near this gene, okay? And then there's a process called recombination, okay, where the chromosomes exchange genetic information, right? Now, recombination was suppressed in order to isolate and establish what's called the male-specific region on the Y chromosome. Scientists call it the MSY. All right, so there's the MSY on the male chromosome, right, which harbors all the genes that's conducive to male reproduction. So recombination was suppressed in order to isolate and establish the MSY. Now, because this chromosome did not recombine with the X, it started losing a lot of its ancestral genes. So the Y got smaller and smaller and smaller. So scientists around the early 1990s declared that the Y chromosome was degenerate because it stated that the X chromosome maintained 98% of its ancestral genes, whereas the Y chromosome maintained only 3% of its ancestral genes. So in the early 2000s, the Y chromosome was declared genetically degenerate. In fact, scientists created mathematical models that predicted the extinction of the Y chromosome. Okay? And so I kept on thinking, I said, well, goodness, it is smaller than the X, and I'm wondering, is there a reason behind this? You know, is it really degenerating or decaying? And I came across several papers that said that the Y chromosome is not degenerate. Now, when these scientists first declared that the Y chromosome was degenerate or that it was decaying, the decelerating decay theories were based on examination of the Y chromosome of plants and animals. So this wasn't a theory based on the study of the human Y chromosome. This was all based on plants and animals. So that's where they got these decelerating theories from. from. But these scientists, there's a paper published in the Nature magazine. There were a group of scientists that actually sequenced the Y chromosome. And when you sequence a Y chromosome, you read it letter by letter. So they actually sequenced the Y chromosome and they focused on the MSY. Again, that's the male-specific region in the Y chromosome, right? They looked at the MSY and they scrutinized those genes. And what they found was this. They found that in the past 6 million years, right, the Y chromosome didn't lose any genes. In fact, they said it maintained a stable set of genes on the Y chromosome. And it acquired 2 additional genes. So does that sound like it's degenerate, family? No. Does that sound like something that's degenerate if it's stable over a period of 6 million years and then it actually acquired 2 more genes? Does that really sound degenerate? No. So no, the Y chromosome is not degenerate. It's not degenerate. In fact, this is the conclusion from the paper. And they say this. They said these theories, okay, we have conducted the first, to our knowledge, comprehensive comparison of Y chromosomes from 2 species, providing empirical insight into Y chromosome evolution and a test of decelerating decay theories. These theories elegantly account for the degeneration observed in neo-Y chromosomes recently evolved from autosomes. However, they did not predict and cannot account for the rapid divergence of older, highly evolved chimpanzee and human MSYs described here. Instead, remodeling and regeneration have dominated chimpanzee and human MSY evolution during the past 6 million years. Okay? So we need to establish this, that the Y chromosome is not degenerating and it's not decaying. So then the question is, when it lost all of its genes and it became smaller than the X, was this decay by choice or by force? So a paper was published in a scientific journal, and they said, I'm going to read this, our findings indicate that survival, so what they did was when they sequenced the Y chromosome, right, they looked at the surviving genes on the Y chromosome and they compared it to the genes that it lost, okay? And they wanted to see if this decay was by choice or by force. Now the conclusion reads as this. Our findings indicate that survival was non-random, and in 2 cases convergent across placental and marsupial mammals. We conclude that the gene content of the Y chromosome became specialized through selection to maintain the ancestral dose of homologous XY gene pairs that function as broadly expressed regulators of transcription, translation, and protein stability. So when the Y chromosome got rid of all those genes, it got rid of genes that it didn't need. It got rid of genes that were conducive to male reproduction. So that's why the Y chromosome degenerated or decayed. It wasn't a choice, but it wasn't by force. It didn't happen by force, it was by choice. So what you're looking at is the X and Y chromosome under a microscope. They have a technology called FISH, F-I-S-H, FISH, which allows scientists to look at X and Y chromosomes. Do these look like X's or Y's to you, family? Do they look like X's or Y's? Well, you got a lot of brothers telling sisters that the Y is a broken X because it's missing a leg. Like they say, well, if you look at the X and you look at the Y is missing a broken leg. But if you look at it under the microscope, does it look like an X or a Y? Not at all. Okay. A common misconception about the X and Y chromosome is that they were named because of their shapes. However, we have already seen that Herman Hinking, right, this is the gentleman in the 1890s that discovered the X chromosome. It says he named the X because it was mysterious. It was mysterious or exceptional in some way, in that Natty Stevens then simply continued the alphabetical sequence when she named the Y. So this is a dagger right now, family, because a lot of people will tell you that the X and Y chromosomes look like X's and Y's, and the Y's missing the broken leg. But now we see from this information that they named the X and Y based on just nomenclature, based on it being mysterious. They didn't name this based on, thank you so much, sis. They didn't name this based on any shape, okay? And the lady, Nettie Stevens, who discovered the Y chromosome, she said she was just simply continuing the alphabetical sequence when she named the Y. So now you can't say that the Y chromosome is a broken X based on a leg. I mean, all this foolery. This is the foolery that's going around right now. So it's cleanup time. It's cleanup time. So bigger doesn't mean Bigger does not mean better. In fact, the XY pair genes, it says XY pair genes are more broadly expressed than other ancestral genes that survive on the X chromosome, okay? So what are you saying, Dr. Maat? What I'm saying is the genes that are conducive to both the X and Y are the genes that are most broadly expressed throughout your body. So just because the X maintain 98% of its ancestral genes doesn't mean that your body is utilizing the entire 98% of the ancestral genes. In fact, it's utilizing XY gene pairs that are more broadly expressed than any other ancestral genes. So bigger does not mean better. So women capable of asexual reproduction. So I'm talking about parthenogenesis. Can women have babies through parthenogenesis? So what is parthenogenesis? Parthenogenesis is the development of an individual from an unfertilized egg, okay? Now, scientists have not discovered parthenogenesis in human beings. I don't care what scholar or quote-unquote so-called scholar get up and say, they have not found a case of parthenogenesis in human beings. Now, they have found cases of parthenogenesis in invertebrates, right? In some vertebrates like fish and amphibians, but they haven't found a case of parthenogenesis in human beings. Now, let me go back. I'm sorry, let me go back. Now, according to York said, well, human beings are capable of parthenogenesis because he said that we are both mammal and reptile. Have y'all heard that? That human beings are mammals and reptiles, that we are a mixture? Or y'all haven't heard that? You got to read the Black Book. Well, actually, you don't even want to read the Black Book. But they say that human beings are capable of parthenogenesis. He said because we are both mammal and reptile. Now, I like to establish this. Two species can only interbreed if they are closely related. Means we are in the same genus. We share the same genes, okay? We have a common ancestor. We don't have a common ancestors with amphibians and reptiles. So it's impossible for us to be a mixture of mammal and reptiles. So what about the Bartholin gland? No disrespect to my man, Polight, but what about the Bartholin gland? Because sisters are now saying that we can shoot sperm or we can shoot seminal fluid because we have this Bartholin gland inside of our womb. Sean, hit the button, hit the button. The Bartholin gland. Hit play.
If you say the life is in the sperm, and you say the life is in the rod, and you're talking about the sperm, okay, if you're talking about seminal fluid, then my wife is simply saying, hey, the Bartholin gland secretes the same seminal fluid as the male's bulbourethral gland. The male's gland that secretes the seminal fluid is called the bulbourethral gland. The female's is called the Bartholin. So if your point is, because you can produce sperm, that makes you great, that puts her down, all my wife was saying is, if that's the case, women produce sperm too.
No disrespect to Brother Polight, but I gotta clean that up. I had to clean that up. I gotta clean that up, Dr. Ali. I had to. Okay, so put Dr. Maat on record. The Bartholin gland does not produce seminal fluid. Okay, y'all can put me on record. Y'all can rewind this tape. Y'all can post it. The Bartholin gland does not produce seminal fluid. The Bartholin gland that he's talking about, within the walls of the vagina, if you open up your vulva, right, there are two ducts that sit there. And behind those ducts are Bartholin's gland, okay? The purpose of the Bartholin gland is to secrete fluid, okay? Little bit of fluid so that, I know we have kids in the building, but, you know, doing that, you know, so doing that, you know, intercourse, you know, it protects the vagina. That's what it does, okay? It does not secrete seminal fluid. It secretes arousal fluid, okay? Now, that's the bulbourethral gland that he was talking about, right? The bulbourethral gland does not secrete seminal fluid, okay? What it does is the bulbourethral gland secretes a fluid that cleans the urethra urethra, right, it rids it of acid so that when the sperm comes through, the sperm won't die, okay? So it's like a cleansing fluid, a clear fluid that comes up through the urethra in order to clear it from any acid, okay? So that is the job of the bulbourethral gland. Now, seminal fluid, okay, is produced by a combination of fluids from the seminal vesicles. Alright, and your seminal vesicles are right here. It's right above your prostate. So this is your prostate. This is your seminal vesicle. And below your prostate is your bulbourethral gland that he's talking about. So seminal fluid is a combination of seminal vesicles, fluid from seminal vesicles, the bulbourethra, and the prostate gland. So that's how you form, that's how they produce, that's how men produce seminal fluid. We don't have all of that. We don't have the capability to produce seminal fluid. All right, let's go. Now let's play this. Oh my gosh, I know y'all get ready to say, hold on, Sean, nigga, you play that. Y'all want to say?
She here too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get him. I got him.
No, I said she's here in the building.
Oh, she in the building?
Yeah,
Shout out to Melanin Sutek. Where's Melanin Sutek? She in the building? All right, shout out to Melanin Sutek because the sister gave him the business, despite the comments that you saw on Sign at the TV. She gave him the business. Now sisters are saying, okay, so first it was the Bartholin gland that they said secretes seminal fluid and sperm. Now sisters are saying that bone marrow has sperm in it. And if you don't believe me, I'm getting ready to roll the tape. I gotta roll the tape out.
Turn it up.
Turn that up. We need that turned up. Wait, not you, Sean. It's the volume, the brother. Take it back. Here we go.
There was an eye on the planet right now. The black woman will be able to impregnate herself by instilling sperm out of her bone marrow and impregnating herself. You do not even need a man to continue on life right now. We are just making procreation easier.
Shawty, turn it off. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. Just push pause. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. You said, I know, sis. I know it's foolery. This is what this, I ain't gonna say fool. I'm not gonna be disrespectful. This is what he said. He said that if all of the men died, right? If all of the men fell off the planet Earth, he said women could still produce life by taking their bone marrow out and inserting it in their vagina, because he said that the bone marrow has sperm in it.
Come on, Queen.
Come on, I'm coming, sis. An article called Bone Stem Cells Turned into Primitive Sperm Cells. Notice it says bone stem cells turn into primitive sperm cells. Okay, so in this article, it's talking. There are scientists that are trying to cure infertility in men. So what they're doing now, they're experimenting with stem cells. Like they're doing a lot of things with stem cells. They're making artificial
Talking
traits.
to Mike. Talking to Mike.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Simon. They're making artificial traits with stem cells. Okay, and now they're going to use the bone marrow from men, the stem cells from the bone marrow from men, right, to produce artificial sperm. Now, when you say artificial, we mean man-made, right? So it's not natural, right? It's artificial sperm. So at the end of the article, it explains how maybe later on in the article, and I have it right here. If you don't believe me, I have it right here. It talked about female sperm. Now, in that paragraph, I want to read it to you so y'all know that I'm not going crazy, okay? I want to make sure I'm not going crazy. It says, Navernia hopes that one day it might be possible to inject the sperm stem cells directly into the testes of human patients so that these men can conceive naturally as opposed to using IVF, in vitro fertilization. And it says, and women may be able to use the technique to produce sperm, allowing lesbian couples to have their own biological daughters. Okay? So women do not have sperm in their bone marrow. What they're going to try to do is take stem cells from the bone marrow to produce artificial sperm, man-made sperm. Ashe?
Ashe.
So a lot of you all might say, well, Dr. Maat, you just told me that mitochondrial DNA goes back 200,000 years, right? And according to science, they said that the Y chromosome goes back to about 190,000 years. So y'all are asking the same question that I asked. Well, what the hell was going on during 10,000 years? And we were all created in pairs, right?
That's right.
And women, you know, our mitochondrial DNA goes back 200,000 years, and men go back to 190,000. But what was going on in that 10,000 year period? Well, come on, Dr. Ali Muhammad, you know about the 800 that they found that dates back to 338,000 years ago, right? So that they found a Y chromosome lineage that precedes mitochondrial DNA. So what are you saying, Dr. Mayat? What I'm saying is that women, it's no secret that we mature faster than men. That's no secret. But while we were maturing, you had brothers there, they were catching up. They were all cavemen, and they were catching up. Just like you guys catch up when we little girls, we used to beat you up, and then you catch on up. So that's what's going on with science. That's what was going on. It wasn't an all-female planet like these brothers would have you thinking. We were created in pairs, okay? We were created in pairs. And we matured faster than you all, you know, so that's why we're at 200,000 years and y'all at 190,000 years, but you all caught up, right? Just like you catched up, you caught up when we were kids. The black woman is God. This is Dr. Delbert Blair. Are you familiar with his teachings? Dr. Delbert Blair. Peace be upon his soul. I know he passed on. I want to say January the 16th of this year, he made this transition. So it's no disrespect to Dagger, to the elder, but we got to clean some stuff up, okay?
Clean it up.
He gave a presentation or a lecture in 1994, right? Now, these were the books he recommended during his lecture. The Great Red Dragon, The Star People, and under that it says, the startling truth about thousands of aliens now awakening among us. He also talked about the Sky People, right? And the Sky People, and he said, visitors to this planet in Atlantean and biblical times are among us. These were his references. These were other references that he used during this lecture. The redundant male. The man unknown. The physiological enigma of the woman. I want y'all to remember this, family. That your research is only as good as your references and methodology, okay? So your research is only as good as your references and your methodology. So during this lecture, thank you, family. During this lecture, he stated that women were created before men. And he based that on the cosmic egg myth. Notice I used the word myth, okay? He said women were here first based on a myth, all right? And he also based it on the Ovis theory, which was debunked 400 years ago, okay? He based it on the Ovis theory and parthenogenesis. Now you guys can download this PDF called Creation Myths of the World. It's online by David Lemmy. And in this PDF, he talks about all the creation myths from around the world and in different tribes. And he said that the ancestors used birth as a creator metaphor. They studied nature. They looked at how animals reproduced. They saw eggs. They saw different things. And they came up with stories, myths, to explain birth, to explain the origin of the universe, right? But again, they're myths. Okay, they're stories, all right? They're myths and stories. He also talked about in this lecture ovism. Now, ovism is a theory, right? During around, I want to say the 17th or 18th century, scientists were battling preformationism and epigenesis, okay? I know y'all said, what the hell did she just say? They were battling preformationism and epigenesis. Preformationism, okay, there are two theories. You have the Ovis theory, which says that the unborn offspring are fully formed in the egg, okay? That's what the Ovis theory says, that the unborn offspring are fully formed in the egg. Then you have spermism. That theory says that the unborn offspring is fully formed in the egg. But scientists debunk that 300 years ago and realized that it takes two and that it's a gradual emergence, okay? So he based women being here before men on the cosmic egg myth and on the Ovis theory, which was debunked 300 years ago. Now, this is his proof on parthenogenesis. He stated in this lecture that Dr. Jaquez Loeb proved embryos can develop without sperm. So I kept doing my homework on this and doing my research. This doctor did not prove that embryos can develop without sperm. Let me read it to you. It says, in fact, it says he was among the first to study embryos through experimentation. Loeb helped found the new field of experimental embryology. Notably, he showed scientists how to induce artificial, y'all see the word? Artificial parthenogenesis, thus refuting the idea that spermatozoa alone were necessary to develop eggs into embryos, and confirmed the idea that chemical constitution of embryos' environment affected their development. So this scientist proved that it takes two. It's the sperm and it's the chemicals within the egg that produce the embryo. He didn't say that he didn't believe in babies developing without sperm. So the elder misquoted this man. Now, he also said that in British scientists confirmed, he said 10 cases of virgin births. Okay, this is what he said, that they confirmed this stuff. Well, let me read something to you. In a study conducted by the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, researchers found numerous pregnancies reported by self-described virgins. How many females say, well, I'm a virgin, I went to church, I prayed about it, I'm not doing it no more, I'm a virgin. How many women have done that? I mean, I'm not saying sisters in here have done it, but women do that. So it says that they were self-described virgins. And then this doctor, who was a part of the study, this is what she said. At no time were the women asked directly if they had virgin births. She adds, I am not aware of any medically validated virgin pregnancies in humans. She said, I never saw this. Okay? So we got to stop with, oh, they're confirmed. Got to get out the Bible. We got to get out the Bible. We say we're conscious, but when we start talking about virgin births, you're going right back to the Bible. Okay? He also said that women are superior gender based on our anatomical strengths. I don't call them anatomical strengths, family. I call them differences. You have your abilities as a man. I have my abilities as a woman. I don't call your stuff strengths and weaknesses. Mine's aren't strengths and weaknesses. They're just differences, right? Ashe. They're just differences, okay? And he also based that on disease susceptibilities, right? And then he said that women live longer than men, and then he started looking at brain size, and he made the assertion that the statement that women's brains are larger than men, that was false, because men's brains are actually larger than women's, but he made that assertion. And then he said, well, look at the maturity rates. Women mature faster than men. So these were his claims, family. Now, it is a fact that women do live longer than men. But how long has this been going on? Is this a recent demographic phenomenon, or is this something that happened? Like, is this something that has always been? Most scientists have found out that there was a divergence in male and female mortality starting in the 1890s due to behavioral factors. So it's not that women just live longer than men. We take care of ourselves a little bit better than you all. We go to the doctors, we go to checkups. And how many of you women in here had to push your man to go to the doctors? Men don't go to the doctors. Y'all eat what y'all want to eat. And that's what happened. So women tend to live longer than men because of behavioral factors, not due to any biological difference. It's all about behavioral factors, Ashe? Okay. And then he said that brain size is correlated with intelligence. Brain size is not correlated with intelligence. In fact, scientists are still disputing how to measure intelligence. But now they're measuring intelligence by calculating your relative brain mass and comparing that to your body mass, okay? So that's what they're doing. They don't even know how to measure intelligence, but now they're measuring your intelligence or your cognitive abilities by looking at the relative brain mass with respect to your brain, respect to your body, okay? So they still don't know how to measure intelligence, but guess what they did say? They said that large animals have large brains, right? So if we're going off of brain size, then I guess elephants and whales, right? They must be the most intelligent. It was just going off of brain size because they have, I think their brains are 27 pounds or 2.7 pounds, something like that. So you can't measure intelligence just based on brain size, okay? So this article, it just talks about, in this article that I put up, it's just simply talking about how women do mature faster than men. And the article just simply says that girls tend to optimize brain connections earlier than boys. And they offered up a reason and said maybe this is why females generally mature faster in certain cognitive and emotional areas than males during childhood and adolescence. Okay, so another thing in his lecture, he said that males descended from females, and then he said, oh, all zygotes are formed of female when formed. And he said the male penis is an elongate clitoris and testes are really ovaries, and that the male urethra duct is an amalgamation of the female fallopian tube. Foolishness. The penis is not an enlarged clitoris, okay? The clitoris has no reproductive or urinary function and does not usually lengthen like the penis when stimulated, although it does become engorged. So sisters gotta stop with the whole thing that the clit is a male penis. I mean, we gotta stop this foolery, okay? Now, some of you might say, well, Dr. Maat, Dr. Ben, he said that the black woman is God, right? Because in one of his lectures, he said, my mother is the only God I ever knew, and that heaven was between a black woman's legs. So y'all say that means that the black woman is God. Dr. Ben didn't believe in God. Roll the clip. Roll the clip. Can somebody turn it up? Please turn it up. Shawnee, run it back. Turn it up. Turn it up all the way up, because he said, do I believe in God? No. So for y'all to sit there and say that Dr. Ben said the black woman is God, Dr. Ben said the black woman is God, Dr. Ben is right here on tape saying I didn't believe in God. But he said, hey, if you want to construct the God, I'll say that my God is my mother. That's what he said. If you want to come up with the idea of God, hell, my God would be my mother because she clothed me, she fed me, she protected me when I couldn't protect myself. So I'll just say that the black woman is God. If you want to fabricate a God, then I'll say it's my mother. But in actual reality, Dr. Ben did not believe in God. So were women gods in the African mind? So in Africa, were we calling ourselves gods? I'm asking a question, family. In Africa, were we calling ourselves gods? Okay, well, I'm talking. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir right now. No, we weren't calling ourselves God in Africa. We weren't calling ourselves God in Africa. And a matter of fact, Asar Imhotep has a PDF online that you can download, which is called African Origins of the Word God. And in this research, and this brother does some fascinating research, in this research he showed that we did not have a word for God, but the words that we did have for God, or that came close to the word God, were connected with sky. It was connected with the sky. And when you think of the sky, you think of water, right? Because rain comes from the sky. And you think of distance, okay? So we didn't call each other gods in Africa. And then some of you might say, well, Dr. Maat, what about the Egyptians? They were polytheistic and they had gods. No, they had netters. And the word netter, according to Brother Wajaru, the word netter is a combination of different words built from the same root, expressing elements of distance and water. Okay? So it all goes back to nature, the sky, water. Ashe? We're not talking about any spookism in Africa. We weren't talking about gods. We were simply talking about nature. Now, I would like to say this to all of the brothers, the brothers in the religious communities, the brothers and sisters who are in the religious communities. Motherhood precedes the God construct. I'm going to say that again. Before you even said God, you knew your mother. Okay, so what did the ancients really venerate? What did they really venerate? What did they worship? They worship motherhood. The black woman was venerated because of her ability to reproduce. So motherhood was celebrated. So before there was a God concept, you had to give birth to people who came up with these concepts, right? So I want to say that motherhood precedes the God construct. They all around the world, they found figurines of women with elongated breasts. Okay, the elongated breasts and heavy breasts represented fertility. And when you had heavy breasts or sagging breasts or stretched out body, those were considered fertility's blessings.
Yo, be quiet, everybody. She's speaking, man. Like, for real. She's trying to drop some science and educate the youth, educate her peer group. We're all here to be educated today. Give her the respect. She took her time to do this presentation. The least y'all can do, keep your mouth shut, your ears open.
Thank you, brother.
Y'all got things to say. Go outside and keep it down.
Thank you, brother. That's what I like. Brotherhood stepped up and said something. Thank you so much, brother. Okay, so I wanted to say before there was a God concept, there was the concept of a mother. No one was spooked out, God this, God that, but you did know your mother. So motherhood was venerated. And what you're looking at is a figurine. They call it the Tantan in Morocco. That's dated back 200,000 BCE to 500,000 BCE. So they venerated motherhood. So you say, well, they're not worshiping a God. What were they worshiping? They were worshiping motherhood. All around the world, you see these figurines of a woman with elongated breasts, heavy breasts, stretched out bodies, because that's what happens to our bodies when we give birth. Our bodies change. But the difference between the men back then and the men now, the brothers loved your stretch marks, and they loved your stretched out thigh, and they loved your protruding belly, and they loved your long, saggy breasts, because they knew that you gave birth. And giving birth and reproduction is one of the strongest forces in the cosmos. So it was venerated. Ashe? It was venerated. And then some of you brothers and sisters who are watching online or watching now, you might say, well, Dr. Bayat, look at these figurines. They were found in Germany, Austria, France, you know, but look at the dates. 35,000 BCE, 30,000 BCE. So these were figurines that were carved by brown people. There wasn't a pale face on the planet Earth 30,000 years ago. So these, even though they found them in Europe or in the Middle East, these were carvings from brown people who migrated around the world, and they took with them their traditions and their culture and their knowledge, and they venerated the great black mother. That's who they venerated. They didn't venerate Yahweh. They didn't venerate Jehovah Jireh. They didn't venerate Allah. They venerated the great black mother. Ashe? And in Africa, the African man venerated us so much. They venerated us so much that they set up a matrilineal clan. They set up matrilineal clan. This chart can be found in Civilizational Barbarism by Dr. Shank Anti Diop. And he compares the difference between the African clan and the Indo-Aryan clan. Now, the Indo-Aryan clan was patrilineal, but the African clan was matrilineal. The black man held his woman up, and he elevated his woman for motherhood, being the great black mother. So what did we have in Africa? We had Maat in Africa. We had balance in Africa. Look at this. This was found. This is from the Greenfield Papyrus. You have the Netta. I don't like using the word God, goddess. You had the Netta, Newt, and who's holding her up? Gab, a man. Who's on the ground? I'm sorry, Gab is on the ground. I'm sorry, Gab is on the ground, and Shu is holding her up. You didn't see the goddess by herself. You saw her with her complement, who is Gab. Shu is in the middle. Tefnut was Shu's complement. Okay, so what are you talking about right now, Dr. Mayat? I'm talking about balance. If you look at the statues of Asar, Aset, and Horu, we're looking at the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity, man, woman, and child. All right? What are you talking about right now, Dr. Mayat? I'm talking about Mayat. Now, this is the deity. They call him Jehudi. Some people say Tahudi, or some people say Thoth, right? This was the nectar of mathematics, divine speech, and writing. But no one ever tells you about Sheshet, who was his counterpart. She was the nectar of writing, mathematics, and measuring. If you Google the stretching of the cord ceremony, this sister was responsible for aligning the temples with the celestial bodies. So this is his complement. So what are you talking about right now, Dr. Mayat? I'm talking about balance, Mayat. Right here is a statue of Haru and Heru. What are you talking about? I'm talking about balance. Now, I created this table based on a book called The God Genes Decoded. And in it, it talks about Amen and Heh and Noon and Ra. And if you look at it, it says masculine expression. So for every masculine expression, you had a female expression. You had Mix or Mentet, Hehet, either Nunet or Nanet, and Ra'et. So you had complements, you had balance. All right? And it's sad today that when they took a poll, this is a study that came out of the Kaiser Foundation and the Washington Post, when they asked how important marriage was to, you know, black men, black women, white men. You know who scored the highest? White women. The white woman said, oh, my man is very important to me. Being married is very important to me. So sisters, we got to get back to that. We got to get back to loving our brothers and putting our kings back on his throne. Did y'all hear what I just said, sisters? We can't keep telling our daughters and telling our female friends that men are genetic defect and they are inferior and men ain't this and men ain't that, because all it's doing is breeding dysfunction. That's it. The black family is under attack right now. So when you circulate in this foolery that the black woman is God all by herself and she's superior and you don't need no man, you're adding to the dysfunction. You're adding to the division amongst black men and black women. So I want to say this. We need to reincorporate Mayat and denounce anything that opposes it. So that means, brothers, if they telling you the black man is God, you better be yelling the black woman is God too. So sisters, if they tell you that you are God, you better be saying, yeah, the black man is a God too. Okay, so we need to reincorporate Mayat and get back to balance and get back to loving each other. And before there was a God concept, there was the great black mother. Do not relegate me to something that I can't see, touch, smell, and feel. No, I am a natural black woman. So before there was a God concept, there was the great black mother, okay? The black woman is nature. That's what she is. If you look up the etymology of the word nature, one of the terms means birth, and black women give birth. So I am nature. You, sis, we are nature, and we co-created, and notice I used the word co because we didn't do it by ourselves. We co-created the oldest institution in the world, which is the black family. Ashe? So if you're going to venerate me as a black woman, with all these pseudo teachings going on, if you're going to venerate me, do not venerate me based on pseudoscience, myths, and debunked theories. If you're going to venerate me as a black woman, venerate me because of my actual abilities. Venerate me because I am the perpetuator of the race. Venerate me because without me there would be no race. Venerate me because I nourished you in my womb. I nourished you in my womb, and when I gave birth to you, you sucked the milk from my breast. Venerate me because I am the first teacher of the child. I am the first teacher of the child, and I am the first protector of the child because I protected you in my womb. So venerate me because I'm the first teacher, right? I'm the first teacher. I'm the first protector. I proved to you in my last lecture that I'm the first mathematician. I'm the first agriculturalist, because guess what? We all came from hunter-gatherer communities. So while the men were out there hunting, sometimes your asses came back and you didn't have no meat. So who fed you? The sisters were home. We were growing whatever we were growing. It might have been vegetables or whatever. So we are the first agriculturalists. So venerate me based on my actual abilities and the fact that I'm the foundation of the family. Black African power. Thank you, sis. That's my girl. Okay.
He's Dr. Maat. Come on now. Come on. Stop playing.
How you doing, brother? Peace, brother. How you feeling? How you doing, brother? Peace and blessings.
Some love. Come on now. Stop playing. It's your sister. I don't care where y'all. I don't care. We are all one. Show her love.
I knew you were going to come. I was looking for you. My girl.
I like how you broke it down scientifically. When I was coming at Pharaoh, that was just common sense.
Man, girl. Oh, I didn't know
Kill
you had it